What is good, everybody? Can I tell you one thing? If there's anything better than 24, it is the number 25. Welcome back to a brand new edition of El Boogie and the Bell. I am the Bell, of course, here with El Boogie. El Boogie, how are we doing?
Doing great, man. Just watched the end of the Olympics yesterday. NFL preseason week 1 is in the books. We got a lot to talk about today.
It's all over, and we're back. We're getting excited for the season. Thank you to the Olympics for giving us more to talk about leading up to during our season 2 or the beginning of our season 2. So let's get right into it. Of course, our segment number 1 is going to be El Boogie's GM takes. I think we're headed to the NFL. El Boogie, who are we taking over and what are we doing?
All right, this week I'm going to be the 49ers GM, and I'm going to do something about this Brandon Ayuk situation. So Brandon Ayuk, he wants to be paid top of the market money. I don't think the Niners are willing to give him that. So they've been trying to see if they can trade him off. They've talked to the Patriots, they've talked to Pittsburgh, they've talked to the Browns. Apparently they've had deals in place with some of these teams, but Brandon Ayuk is not a fan of the destinations.
Okay.
So what exactly do the 49ers do? Well, this might be a little bit of a controversial take, especially since the 49ers are not in a great spot financially, or well, they're paying a lot of people. I think you give Brandon Ayuk definitely like a $29 million deal for 4 years. I think you pay him. I think you pay him. Here's why you got to pay
Only
him.
4 years?
I mean, you can give him 5 if you want to give him 5. Those deals.
29 million a year. I thought you sounded crazy.
Yeah, 29 million a year over 4, so like 100
Okay.
and whatever that number is. Yeah. Oh, well, no, like pay him, pay him. Yeah, I think you pay him unless he's trying to get paid like Justin Jefferson's contract at 35 million a year. Definitely, you do not do that. But like, can you give him 29 million a year would make him the 5th highest paid receiver in football. I think that's good. I think you do that just because of his production and how good he is for that offense. I think it was like some crazy stat, like 80% of the passes he caught last year either went for a first down or a touchdown. So he's producing, but it's like, all right, what do you do now that you have, that contract on top of everyone else's contract and Brock Purdy's contract is coming? You got to start dumping people. You got to start restructuring. You got to start dumping people. I think you get rid of Deebo Samuel.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I know. I know. Can you get rid of Deebo just because? I mean, Deebo is effectively a running back. You do a lot through him, which would make it it'll be difficult. But Kyle Shanahan can figure it out. But I feel like you could find somebody else to fill Deebo's role. Like you could find another bruiser, another run through, and Kyle Shanahan can scheme somebody to be in spots and just let them run the ball. Like I think Deebo is more replaceable than Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. That's just me. So you send off Deebo, try to get like a second round pick for him. Second round pick for Deebo. Get his contract off the books. You restructure Trent Williams' contract because he wants more money. I think you restructure it so he's getting paid more money this year, and and then you kick this and like less money the next 2 years. So he's at least happy for this year. But yeah, dude, I think you keep Brandon Ayuk. You keep him. Like Brock Purdy and him have a good connection. You need him for Brock Purdy to keep being successful. So I get rid of Deebo.
Amazing mid-level to deeper threat. My real pushback with these statements, these wild statements, is obviously Brandon Ayuk is expressing a little bit of frustration with where he's valued at compared to like how long he's been waiting to get a contract, or maybe he's in the negotiation table. Deebo Samuels, I would say, seems like he's in a happier position. as far as like he feels like he's getting what he wants. I also want to throw out there that we're talking about 1,200 all-purpose yards and let's give him 13. Let's do Debo at 1,300 all-purpose yards in 2023. And yes, Brandon Ayuk has 1,342 yards just receiving, with an average of 18 yards per touch, which is just absolutely crazy. Like that is absolutely nuts. So you're talking about two people who absolutely are providing to what a team would want out of a contending for a Super Bowl. And don't forget that the MVP candidate was on there as well, Christian McCaffrey. So I'm like, yikes. You can't keep them all. I just feel like Debo fits the company culture more than Brandon Ayuk, based off of what's conspired over the past. Let's give it about a year and a half. So I think you get as much value as you possibly can for Brandon Ayuk. The only thing is like a team's getting a superstar, and at best you're just getting pieces that can help you get back to a potential Super Bowl, which isn't bad knowing that you do still have Debo and Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying Brandon Ayuk is replaceable by any stretch of the imagination, but don't forget Brock hasn't been paid yet. So I'm like, maybe you could get a cheaper 1 or 2 year player who's absolutely balling. But I mean, you're not going to replace Brandon Ayuk, but you could definitely surround your team with a lot of weapons for him. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. They obviously don't need anybody on on defense. And then as far as Trent Williams, I say continue to restructure that deal once you get rid of Brandon Ayuk and add 2, maybe 3 pieces. And let's do 2 pieces and a pick for what you could probably get for him.
I mean, I don't know. I just see it's because I see Debo's contract. Debo's their highest cap hit this year, $28 million cap hit. So at least I feel like that gives you some. If you can get his contract off the books, that gives you a little bit more wiggle room. It also starts to clear things up for when you have to sign Brock Purdy. So I mean, other than that, I mean, nobody else on this team is really replaceable. I mean, I maybe Kittle. Like, you don't want to let go of everyone, but at least Kittle's older. Like, Kittle's like 33, 34. You know,
I do
like,
think we'd be having a different conversation if they won the Super Bowl. If they won the Super Bowl, I think most people would give Brandon Ayuk the boot because there's something called company culture. They're in an interesting situation because they didn't win the Super Bowl, so it's like everybody can't fit company culture when the ultimate goal wasn't done. When the mark was not met, that's when it's like, okay, well, whoever doesn't want to be here or feels like they should be here but at their price, you get into these negotiations. So I think this was a really tough one. I mean, I think you're doing the Brandon Ayuk versus Deebo Samuels, and you're talking about like the top of the NFL when you even bring both of them into the same conversation. Did Brandon Ayuk outperform at their position? Yes, but you're talking about all-purpose, and then you have an MVP who's a pretty all-purpose guy as well. So I don't know. I do think Debo fits the company culture, but I do respect the Brandon Ayuk. I mean, come on, man. 18 yards, like 75 receptions, 1,300, like crazy. Like that's out of this world. That's down the field, just busting butts.
the thing is with the Niners too is they do this with everyone. It's always a struggle for them to pay everyone. They made Nick Bosa wait, and then he sat out training camp. Debo had his, like, we forget that happened like 2 years ago, where Debo like took some time off trying to get a new deal. Like, they do this with everyone for some weird roundabout reason. Um, but yeah, I think it's just I think you can't replace his production. I mean, the Niners drafted a couple. They drafted a couple wide receivers. We'll see if any of them turn out to be like Brandon
1,300
Ayuk.
yards is crazy to replace, like in one draft. Yeah, that's a lot of work to make up for.
Yeah,
So
like
I feel
if you
you.
lose him, you lose your deep threat. Like, that's your deep threat. Everybody else is like, you get them the ball and let them run upfield, but he's the one making those big long catches. You know, so
Man, talk about a team. They had a squad and still couldn't get it done.
in
It is what it
overtime,
is. Man,
overtime, man,
all
crazy.
right. All right, I guess we're starting the show off a little hot. All right, moving right into segment 2. Let's lighten it up. We're gonna go with El Boogie and the Bell's trivia. The Bell will go first. That boy Lavelle came out hot today. Let's go with El Boogie. This one's gonna be a little bit of a hard one, so I'm gonna have you throw it out. But anyways, can you name every quarterback, keyword quarterback, who was a first round draft pick to eventually win a Super Bowl? The years from 1970 to 2005. And there's 5 of them.
Wait. Oh, okay. In that time
Number one
period.
overall draft pick.
Number one overall.
Yes.
This is gonna be hard.
The first year is 1970. The last year, let's do 2005.
Okay. Dang. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is number 4, 1998 draft, Indianapolis Colts.
So there was somebody after him who went number 1 and won a Super
Somebody very close to Mr. Manning.
Oh, was it his brother?
Yep. Believe it or not, this threw me off. Eli Manning, 2004, San Diego Chargers. And honestly, I didn't know that Peyton was that much older. 7 years. Oh, I don't know if he's that much older, but he's that much older in league years.
Mm-hmm. Dude, this is hard. Okay. Number 1. See, I don't know.
You got the 2 newest. There's a really cool one for us.
For us. Oh, is it John Elway?
John Elway, number 2, 1983.
Okay.
He was traded from the Baltimore Colts. They traded to the Denver Broncos. All right, this is okay. I'll make the last 2 easy for you now. These guys are really, really old, but they're both very, very, very active in the sports media genre.
Okay. Dan Marino?
No, good guess though.
They're
as active as you could possibly be. I'm talking about Sundays, every Sunday, on the Sunday.
What's his name? The quarterback that played for the Steelers.
Oh, you're on fire.
God, what's his name, dude?
He's kind of a shorter fella. Very funny. Fox Sports.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. I'm literally seeing his face, but I can't think of what his name is. Terry Bradshaw.
Got it. Terry Bradshaw, 1970, drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He would retire with them. All right, this other one is literally Sunday night. That's the biggest hint in the world.
Sunday night. Who's on Sunday night?
His draft year was 1989.
1989. What team did he play for?
Oh, that's a huge giveaway. Dallas Cowboys.
Did I give it away? Oh, is it? Oh, God,
wow.
the dude with the no, I know. I'm picturing his face.
Of the Cowboys.
He's got like a really no homo, but he has like big lips, right?
He looks a lot like a rapper.
Yeah, he looks like Jay-Z. Yeah. Fuck. You're just gonna have to give me the name, dude. I can't think of it.
All right, it's gonna be Mr. Troy Aikman.
God. Dang it.
So at first I thought this list was really, really hard, and then you see the names and you're like, I feel like I could guess this until you're like stuck in a position where you have to guess it.
It's like I can picture their faces, but it's just the names. Dang.
See, Terry Bradshaw's a lit one because till this day he's still lit. And I'm like, dang, he got drafted. No, he wasn't born. He got drafted in 1970.
54. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Dang, he's old.
All right, Boogie, give it to me.
All right, now that we're in the NFL preseason, that means it's already time to get ready for some fantasy football. Everybody's out there drafting for their leagues, trying to get the best talent on their squad. But hey, Bell, we did a fantasy league last year, so I'm going to kind of pick your brain. Can you tell me the top 5 quarterbacks with the most points in fantasy last season and the top 5 non-quarterbacks?
Let's go Brock Purdy at like 2 or 1.
Brock Purdy No, he's number 6 actually.
Wow.
He is number 6 for
I'm going
quarterbacks.
top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy points last year.
I'm hurt. Let's do Lamar Jackson, the MVP.
Lamar Jackson is in the top 5. He is the number 4 quarterback.
Whoa. I feel like Patrick Mahomes and them has such a horrible start to the season, but I guess let's go Patty, number 5.
Nope.
Now, I was about to
He's
say,
not
you
in the
remember they
top.
started so low. Oh my god. I think he got the passing record. What the oh wow. Tua. Number 2.
Nope.
Tua's not top 5?
Nope.
He was going for an MVP. This is fantasy?
This is fantasy
The
points,
two most
bro.
explosive receivers are receiving core?
He did not get in the top 5, or not in the top 6, not in the top 7. Actually, where is he? He is the 9th quarterback. Yeah, he's the 9th quarterback.
Gardner Minshew. I don't know. Are we crazy? Let's do. Let's Dak.
Dak is number 3. He's right ahead of Lamar.
Crazy, but it's regular season once again. Who went nuts last year? Now I'm gonna draw a huge blank. Kyler was injured. Who would have went nuts? Oh my, CJ Stroud can't be top 5.
No, he's number 10.
It can't be Russell Wilson. I'm drawing blanks on the whole.
Gotta think quarterbacks who
oh my god! Oh boy, from Detroit. Detroit has to be number 2.
Nope.
They went down on 4th down every single play. I mean, drive.
Detroit.
Yeah, what's his name?
Jared Goff. No, he's not in the top 5.
And Brock Purdy's number 6.
You're missing like a crazy one. Like
Joe B was injured. Lamar Jackson was the MVP, and he's 4.
You're really missing two big ones. One's a surprising one, but
isn't in there.
Nope.
The huge one. People who went absolutely nuts
in fantasy points. Think who's running the ball into the end zone.
Oh, my bad. Jalen Hurts, 5.
Jalen Hurts is number 2.
Okay, yeah, a lot of runs, okay. Jalen Hurts. Who is it? A strong quarterback?
One of them is. Yeah, he's a strong guy. He's a big guy.
Baker B.
Nah, son.
Yeah, that'd be lit.
I can't believe you can't get the number 1 quarterback.
I am so confused. It's ridiculous. Give me a conference.
AFC East.
Josh Allen went that nuts? I feel like it was. I don't feel like it was a down year.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, because they had him like the MVP once they were coming back with all those games, huh?
Yeah, dude. But think he's always running the ball, running in for touchdowns. Like
It's just the picks and stuff. You know what I mean? All those picks and stuff are negative points. So.
Yeah, the fifth one. Yeah, I don't know if you'll get him. He just got paid this offseason. So he's a younger guy. He just got paid. Big deal.
I refuse to believe going. What were they? 10-7 gets you top 5 in fantasy points.
Who is it?
Jaguars?
No, God, no.
Because he was like injured for half the season, right?
I think he missed a couple games.
Is it somebody hilarious?
Not hilarious, but that's why I think it's hard. It's kind of surprised me when I saw it.
Give it to me, man.
Jordan Love, number 5.
They started slow though. What did he do?
Started slow, but they picked it up.
But he wasn't just rushing for 6-point touchdowns.
He got 320 fantasy points. That's what he did. I mean, he threw for 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns. He ran in 4.
Okay. I'll give it to him. That was a shocker. Over Brock Purdy is crazy to me. I mean, I guess, yeah, that's crazy. Alrighty. Wow. All right, that was a rough little trivia day, but we made it through. All right. Headed right into segment number 3 is going to be our topics of the day. We're just going to run through a couple. We're going to start with the Bell's topics. All right. El Boogie. Olympics are over. They are finally over. I think it's like a stretch of like 2.5 weeks, a full month of, the prerequisites and everything like that to get them warmed up. What did you take away from this year's Olympics?
I mean, America's still on top. I mean, they said we won the Olympics. I mean, you don't really win the Olympics. But I mean, being tied for the most amount of gold medals and winning the most overall medals, that's gotta count for something. Um, so yeah, I think as a country, I mean, we invest a lot into our athletes. So I think that gives us an advantage, especially over smaller countries that don't have the resources. So our money kind of helped supported us. But yeah, I don't really think there were any big shockers. I think I was happy that we won the gold in men's and women's basketball. The men's game was crazy.
Yeah,
Steph Curry is a madman. Like, he needs to be taken to an insane asylum because he went nuts. Like, that was crazy. The women's game was much closer than everyone thought it was going to be. It came down to they only won by 1 point.
yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the ending, but it's France had the ball, shot a buzzer beater and made it, but it didn't tie it up because the girl's foot was on the line.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts, but yeah, no, both men and women brought it home. Our women's soccer team got the gold. That was cool. Swimming, we always did good. Track, we did pretty well too. So I was happy, man. I was pleased. What do you think?
Yeah, my biggest takeaways were like shouts out to the gymnastics team. It's always interesting to watch. I'm not like crazy about watching it, but it's definitely one of the ones I do watch. I thought that they did pretty awesome, so that was dope. They had like a little get into it with like one of their former players, but hey, they ended up winning the gold as a team, and then a lot of gold medals per person competing. So that was cool. The men's basketball, once they beat Serbia in the semifinal, that was dope. That was amazing. I thought that was cool. It was a really good game. Shouts out to Jokic, I guess, for Denver that he got his what's it called? He got his bronze medal for his country. I mean, that's still a pretty big deal. So, he still comes back to America with a medal of his own for his own country. Um, I'm trying to think of the crazier things I saw. The men's 100 was absolutely crazy. That final goal for the men's 100 was pretty dope. I really didn't think he won at all. I thought the dude from I knew the dude from Jamaica won, but the one dude with the things in his hair, he won. That was pretty dope to see. Um, China, like from the matches I saw, absolutely dominated in wrestling. When I was at the gym, wrestling was on around those times. Crazy. Like these guys have like negative body fat percentage. That was ridiculous to see. But yeah, I
Mm.
saw China win a couple good wrestling matches. Of course, the Olympics is that thing that you just randomly have on throughout the day, all day, every day. Um, and I just thought it was dope. I hope everybody could get a lot of good sponsorships and brand deals out of it. I can't think of anybody off the top of the head who just became like a major star overnight to this Olympics, but I'm sure they're gonna come back home and have all the deals and sponsorships in the world. So yeah, I thought it was pretty dope. As far as the medal count, let's say America beat everybody out, but man, China. You want to talk about developed countries and stuff like that? Yeah, China and Japan. Shout out to them. I remember that Australia was kind of hot at the beginning, but they've definitely fallen off towards the end. Which is there's nothing wrong with being number 4. I mean, you won a lot of stuff. Um, yeah, let's give a shout out to Pakistan because they only got one gold. I mean, they only got one medal total, and it was like some kind of like success story for the one girl from who's representing Pakistan. I think she does live in America. I think she's actually from Colorado too. So shout out to her.
Oh,
You're cool.
cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, yep. So there's that. Another. Anything else with the Olympics?
See you in LA, man.
Hey, so
2020,
then
2028.
be there. All right. Moving on to the next the bell topic. Okay. I've watched it literally 10 minutes before. I don't even know if I finished the first episode, but I watched 10 minutes before. I was watching it even 10 minutes before we started tonight's show. Hard Knocks Bears edition. Have you got to see it?
I have not seen 1 second of it.
Okay. So it's so interesting, and we'll keep this one brief because you haven't seen it yet, and plus we're gonna watch it play out as that's what Hard Knocks is. So in the first episode, I remember when people were like getting all crazy about him overthrowing DJ Moore in practice, and they were like, he just kind of shook his head no, like, man, that was a bad pass. It happens. It's practice. Like, unfortunately, these players have to play in front of the world every single year now compared to back in the day. Like, people didn't even have enough money for the camera to bring them out to practice, and now we have full documentaries on our sidelines. They have full documentaries on their sidelines. I didn't think nothing of it. I think it kind of blew up on TikTok or on YouTube a little bit. People kind of overdid it, say, "Oh, he's going to be a drive buzz, this and that." Now, watching the first episode of Hard Knocks, they kind of dived into a long long stream of a couple practices where he was struggling. You know, there's definitely a learning curve I see. So when you get in there with the pros, so it was interesting to see that aspect because I didn't know if it was that deep, but obviously, you know, you can't always trust social media, but seeing it from that aspect seemed like he had a lot of struggle, but seems like, you know, he started gaining it towards the end of the episode. And of course that's just television, so they could have framed it that way. But it does get me very interested in how he will perform in his first 4 games because he has a primetime game his second week of his NFL career. So very, very interesting to look into in these upcoming. I am excited to see him do more preseason play in their next game. But other than that, yeah, you got anything on the Hard Knocks or the Bears specifically?
I mean, I will check it out. I mean, it seems interesting. There's a lot of moving pieces. I mean, obviously you have Caleb Williams, but a lot of new faces. So it'll be cool to kind of get a feel for some of those people. Like, I've never really watched anything with Keenan Allen or DeAndre Swift, or the other wide receiver. I forget. I'm forgetting. I'm blanking on his name. But I think it'll be an interesting cast. Do you think you get a good feel for who Caleb Williams is as a person, or not?
Yeah,
So not
I think
much.
he's a little more laid back. I think he doesn't really get bothered too much on the pressure. He seemed like he was a little hard on himself, but I've never competed for millions of dollars ever in my life. So when I get there, I'm sure the frustrations of every little thing that you do are very deep. But I feel like he handled the pressure pretty well, and it looks like there's a good team camaraderie. At least from what they show on the TV screen, you know, looks like they pick up their quarterback after every single. I don't even want to call them mistakes, but every single decision that might not go his way. It looks solid, but we'll see. I mean, it's Hard Knocks. I mean, you could hate him next week. It could be bad. You know, it could be fights. I remember the Antonio Brown season where it's like, oh, yeah, he got back. He apologized to the team. The next day he left the country. So we shall see. So I'm excited to see the next episode when it's the next preseason game. And then going into week 1, I think that's when they wrap it up. But seems like they're having a pretty solid. They did something very interesting, too, where they were like, this is his, what's it called? They're like, he could be the next best thing since Michael Jordan. And it's like all these radio shows in Chicago and everything like that. I know that look is the same look I get. Because it's like, how can you even put that much pressure on somebody when you guys just did this with Justin Fields? Like, you guys just did this. Like, slow down. He could be the next big thing since this, since that. They've never had a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards.
Which is
Ever.
a crazy stat. Like, that is actually, like, nuts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the pressure that's being put on him, he's not going to be C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud comes around once in a lifetime. I'm not even saying C.J. Stroud's going to be better than him in career-wise or anything like that, but I'm just talking about your rookie season to be put in that good of a position and make it as far as they did. Throw that out the window. So when you hear all like their commentators and stuff like that in the show, it's like, okay, if I was from Chicago, maybe I would say it too. But I'm like, don't put too much pressure on him that it's just ridiculous. So that was an interesting thing where they just had like commentator after commentator, radio host, personality, this and that. And it's like, this is the next biggest thing. I'm like, did y'all forget who was here last year? You feel me? Like 6'4", same size as old boy from the Eagles. Strong, fast, athletic, could actually throw the ball. How'd that go? Give him some time. Let's just give him some time. That's it. So I'm excited
Let
for
him
his first 2 weeks.
let him win a game first.
That's it.
Like, please, yeah.
Let's see how he performs in his primetime game, and then we could kind of judge him over the course of a 17-week season. But, I mean, yeah, he looks pretty solid to me. All right, last thing. Oh, I'm actually going to save my last thing because I guess it's kind of your last thing as well. Okay, El Boogie. El Boogie's topics of the day. Give them to me.
All right, like I said earlier, we just finished week 1 of the NFL preseason. A lot of teams coming up to speed. A lot of young players getting their first NFL play time. So, hey, Bill, I don't know. Did you watch a lot of the preseason? Did you see anybody that stood out to you?
I watched no preseason besides the Broncos today.
Okay, what'd you think of Bo Nix?
I thought that Bo Nix's drive was very, very promising. I like that Sean Payton was coaching like it was the Super Bowl. Like he really was too. Like he was highly engaged in the game. Every single 2-minute drill they could do, every single we want the ball back, we gotta score. They kept the defense responsible because they were kind of letting a lot of stuff go. And we're talking about players who probably won't make the team. But the engagement of this is your chance and we're gonna coach you like as if it was week 1 or week 17. I thought the Broncos look good out there. They look really, really good. I liked it a lot. Also, there's a guy who's giving me like Philip Lindsay vibes for the Colts. And I want to give him a shout out because maybe our platform can't get him somewhere. But
Is it because of the hair? Because I feel like I saw him too.
it's the running back, the Watson dude, I think his name was. He was like the 3rd string running back, but he's undrafted. And let's see what this guy's name was. Colts. Where's his rushing? Was it Goodson? It was Jonathan Taylor didn't run. What's his name? I don't know. I gotta find this man's name. I thought it was like Watson or something, but he actually fumbled. But prior to that, he was really running hard. He fought for it. He scored a touchdown. That's why I'm like, I think it's Tyler Goodson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he all purpose and just how hard he was running and how hard he was working. I felt his energy, so I hope he gets it. It says he only has 15 yards, which is crazy. I don't know if it's Goodson. I thought it was an undrafted rookie. Let's see. I don't know. I have to find it. But yeah, those are kind of my takeaways. You got any takeaways from this week 1?
Well, I watched more than none, or more than no preseason this weekend. I did watch the Broncos game too. Bo Nix I think Sean Payton wants Bo Nix to win the job, which makes sense. I mean, you just invested a 1st-round pick into him. But yeah, like you said, he did look like he wasn't perfect, but he looked good. He made the right decisions. Most of his throws were on target. He had one like really good sideline throw. I forget who caught it, but he had one really good sideline throw. I think it was a drive right before halftime. They get the ball at like the opposite 10, drive down the length of the field, and I think they only got a field goal out of it, but he looked calm, composed, in control of he looked very comfortable. I think that's that maturity of having played so much in college. Like he's just like, he's not too like shocked by the moment. So it definitely looked promising, for sure for us. I paid attention to some of the rookie quarterbacks and how they did. Caleb Williams, I think he only played 1 drive. He had like one really nice throw, but nothing too crazy. JJ McCarthy, he threw 2 touchdowns, and one of them was like a long bomb, like a 60-yard touchdown. Who else was a rookie? Who else is a rookie? I'm forgetting all the rookie quarterbacks now.
Did we see not the Panthers? What's their name? The Falcons? Did we get to see, bro?
Oh yeah, Michael Penix. Yeah, he played pretty well. Drake May for the Patriots. It's funny. People are saying that because the Patriots drafted a 6th-round quarterback out of Tennessee, they're saying he's playing better than Drake May. And honestly, he looked better in their preseason game. So it's kind of ironic. They may find themselves in a Brock Purdy, Trey Lance situation.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is as long as you get your quarterback of the future. But I mean, best player plays on the field, period. That's just what it needs to be. Oh,
Right.
did we see the Steelers?
Oh yeah, Justin Fields. Yeah, he started and he actually looked like pretty decent.
What was Russ doing?
Russ is injured right now.
Oh,
Not like a
nasty.
major injury, not a major one, but he's been out of like practice for like half a week. So Justin Fields got like all the first team reps. Obviously, he started in their preseason game this weekend. He looked pretty solid. Like I don't know. I think
Mm,
there's definitely there's room for Justin Fields to come in and steal that job, and I think it's gonna happen.
if there's room for Justin Fields to steal this job, then I want to see Kylan Allen's numbers. I guess that's their third string right now 17 of 23, 193 yards, one touchdown, one interception. I want to see that out of Justin Fields in the preseason if he really wants a job. Um, 5 of 6 for 67 yards. That sounds like one drive, one successful drive that didn't end up in a score because they did not score in the first quarter. And I'm assuming that he started this game. I want to
Yeah, he
see
did.
him with a 193 yards, one touchdown, and one interception in the first half of the game,
Yeah, but I mean that could
or
be just
3 quarters if it need be, because it's like if Russ is your starter, but we're not. Justin Fields is on the clock. Like he needs to play football,
well, it could have
his
just
best
been
football.
because they could have just took him out. You know, like they could have just limited. Because I mean, if you only got to throw the ball six times,
One
there's not
drive.
a ton you can do. And I don't know why they didn't score on that drive. Maybe it probably wasn't his fault. It's probably somebody else's fault. Um, but yeah, I think what is it? Normally they let the starters play more and more as you get deeper into the preseason. So I think he has a shot, man. And honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if they got off of Russ because they only paying him $3 million or something like
Uh,
that. Like
I don't.
you could there are backup quarterbacks that make more than that. You know what I mean?
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I think both of them have had some rough go arounds for the past couple of years, but at least Russ has a proven system at some point in time. Did we see Aaron Rodgers take a scrimmage for a full series or no?
Nah, son, we ain't seeing him till week one.
All right. Looks like it's about it. All right, man. I think that's about
So
it. I think that wraps up another El Boogie in the Bell. El Boogie, you want to take us out?
hey, once again, appreciate y'all tuning in to our show, man. Like we said last week, we're gonna be back regular, giving y'all this content. We're really excited as we get closer to the NFL football season. But once again, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all watch our full video on YouTube, our YouTube shorts, our TikToks, and let us know where we're going crazy. Let us know where I'm going crazy. If y'all think my GM takes are crazy. But yeah, we'll see y'all here, same time, same place next week.
All righty. Peace.